Padres fans, we got to talk about Craig Stammen. I want my shot at overreacting, underreacting, just in general, reacting. Let's pontificate and kind of workshop through this new regime that we have here on this episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Christian Pedersen. Our other host, Andrew, he also has already done a video on this, so I'm not breaking news. There's nothing really day post facto to update you on Craig Stammen. So if you are looking for new news, this might not be for you, but we've got some reaction to the news from the community, from the players, from AJ Preller, and I want to, now that I don't have to do a knee-jerk reaction, this can be I've lived with it for a few days, and let's really put this all into the, proper perspective and context maybe, and a little bit of pontificating and hypotheticating at the end. As we go through all of this, love hearing from you guys. We've got a great community of baseball. I hesitate to say enthusiasts. Some of you seem to hate watch baseball, so good on you if that's why you are here, or if you just hate watching baseball. Oh no, let me hear from you. You guys are awesome, and if you want to follow along as well by hitting that subscribe button, I'm never going to say no, but I'm not going to pressure you into doing it. Let's just look at it again. This guy right here, he's the manager now. Craig Stammen is a former Padre who has had this quick sort of dark horsey rise from his last game being in 2022 to now being the manager in 2025, 2026 is an awesome turnaround. He is 41, so technically could still be a player. And part of me wants to laugh and say, ha ha ha, he could be Roger Dorn and Craig Stammen comes back for, a game every month or two as a player manager and he activates. It's okay, jokes aside, I think that part of what we were pitching in wanting Pujols, and I get that you guys were very split on this in the comment section, but I was on the side of I like the younger, I like the out of the box, sort of something a little different than what we've done. And to pick a guy who played with multiple members of the current Padres organization for a couple of years, for a sustained amount of time. It's not like he and Manny overlapped for one spring training 11 years ago or some sort of I don't have to do the drawn out 6 degrees of separation on this team. I can say directly that Craig knows these guys and knew these guys in the capacity of player to player under some of the previous management that we are sitting here now a couple of years later saying, hey, look, none of what we've done for the last decade has really been the right move. So maybe this move can be. There are a couple of factors that just even right off the bat, I'm real excited about. And I feel like as much as maybe his playing career wasn't Albert Pujols's, that could maybe help, because hear me out. I would love to be the guy who's going back and saying, I've got the tweets from 2019, Craig Stammen was my boy, I called it, I loved it. Sure, I feel looking back, I have maybe 65-35 or 60-40 good memories to mediocre / bad memories of Craig Stammen. For just as many, he's starting game 3 of the playoffs, or he came in and closed it out. It was we ran him out there for the 5th time this week. What are we doing? His arm is a noodle. Give this man a break. He's giving up home runs back to back to back to back. So he was a great player, and I liked him. And this is not to say I was back there bashing him, but we threw him every dang day. He was very much the bring your work pail, blue collary everyday vibey thing of just he seemed like he was a guy that gets it, and he plays the everyday grind, and he's he's somebody who maybe understands the mid-level, just what it takes to coalesce a whole group. He was not Pujols, for as great as he was, maybe was only relatable to some of those guys in the clubhouse because of the expectations that come with $700 million and being the face of a franchise and having the questions of the media, but maybe that doesn't actually make him as relatable to everybody just because he's an ex-player. But if you're someone who's like, hey, I was a middle reliever who started some games and also I played in 7 different teams over 15, like he played a ton of baseball in a lot of different roles and capacities from young guy to old guy. And maybe Stammen really does actually have that je ne sais quoi, or that vibe, or that whatever you want to call it. This quote from AJ Preller was in a recent article by AJ Cassavell. And honestly, we realized it when he was playing. Preller told MLB.com, whatever he was doing, whether it was pitching or coaching or managing, you want this guy in your organization in a leadership role. And honestly, we realized it when he was playing, does make me very optimistic that at the very least, we probably won't get a guy who's going to make this season about him. This quote also from that article, talking about how his first order of business is going to be filling out his coaching staff. Drop a comment if you care enough for a video on who on hitting coach. He has to fill out his coaching staff with his hitting coach. Do you care enough to make a video on that? I don't know if I know enough about baseball to say like, oh, X, Y, or Z dude is going to just show him the Fred McGriff video that was on replay in the 90s about his hitting academy or whatever it was. They'll send you the VHS tape. Like, for all I know, like, there is no sensei out there that's going to fix it. So I'm not going to throw names out there. How about this? My vote is Will Myers. Let's bring Will Myers in just to complete this like weird recent Padres throwback. Have Myers, Ruben Niebla, and Craig Stammen leading the Padres to back-to-back World Series or something like that. That's a fun sentence. But seriously, but it goes on to talk about how he has played with multiple of these guys and kind of reaffirms what I'm saying of like he's got good relationships already in the clubhouse, and this seems like a guy who can get to work pretty quickly on moving forward and moving along and not having to like, hey, like I got to build this rapport with this guy, or I've got to like go meet so-and-so in the middle and get to know, like if he can just come in and maybe there's some shock value at the beginning, like, whoa, like that's a change. But if he can come in and just be like, guys, look, I know what most of you need. Let's address it and let's move forward. That feels like fantastic for where the rest of the team is sitting right now. Because I feel like with Ramon Laureano transactionally coming back, we got a whole video on that, the lineup is more or less set. That we still need a first baseman and a DH and some other pieces, but we know who our catcher, second, short, third, left, center, and right are. So I think that Stammen is in a situation where, sure, he's got to figure out some pitching. That's not necessarily his job to provide the pitchers. That's going to be AJ Preller's job, I would assume mostly, or maybe Grupner or whoever shadow presidents the team. But putting that staff together, hiring a hitting coach, putting the pitching staff together, there's a couple of little things to move on and acquire some new pieces. But if Stammen doesn't have to spend a ton of time with that hitting side, and he can just get going on the dudes that are here, and that he has, and the majority of the team locked in, and most of, I think, the plot lines this offseason are going to be surrounding just, can guys get their heads right? Can Xander hit better all season long? Can Fernando bounce back? What's going to be Merrill in his third year? Where it doesn't seem like we have a ton of plot lines where it's like, oh, X, Y, or Z needs to be traded, fixed, replaced, something like that. The way that we did last season, where it was like, who's going to be our left fielder? Who's going to be our what are we doing here? So yeah, let's see, Stammen. I don't know where to set the bar. 80 wins, 87 wins, 93 wins, 110 wins. I don't care. Let's win. Let's pass the vibe check. Let's do whatever. I don't know. Give him a year, and then let's assess but I'm optimistic. Let me know what you think, though. Drop a comment, like I said at the beginning, if you want to hit the subscribe button. Not going to hate you for it. Talk to you guys soon.